We are live. All right, guys, welcome. Let me bring down the music. I'm enjoying the vibe. All right, guys, welcome to the second training session of the Quad 4. Second training session, Quad 4 of our LinkedIn consistency and content marketing challenge. Tonight, as you can see on the screen, I will be taking you on the 7 elements of brand storytelling. All right, what are like the basic elements of your brand story of your brand that you must include when you're telling the story of your brand on LinkedIn, on any platform. All right, this will be useful for you whether it's on LinkedIn, whether it's on Facebook, whether you're even creating video content. All right. So the things I'm going to be sharing with you tonight will help you to start creating content that resonates with your target audience. So start creating content that is like you're shooting arrow to their heart and it is in the right spot. Content that are laser focused. Wait, what is that? All right, first and foremost, let me know you can hear me because I'm seeing something on the screen. Let me know you can hear me. All right, very important. As soon as I confirm you can hear me, I'll start the training. Let me know you can hear me. Okay, yeah, so I'm going to confirm on YouTube myself and see whether I am loud and clear. All right. Um, if you can hear me loud and clear, let me also know in the comment section. All right, that will help me to know that we are on the same page. As soon as I confirm that, we are starting. All right. Anybody that is joining us will have to follow will follow from where they join us, or we catch the replay. All right. So let me confirm that. All right, I think we're good to go. Yeah, so I have also confirmed. Thank you very much for letting me know you can hear me. Okay, so we are good to go. So tonight we're looking at the 7 elements of brand storytelling. I mean, if you have ever come around me close, they always tell you you should have a brand guide. A brand guide. Your brand guide is like a document that contains everything that has to do with your brand. It contains your slogan, it contains every little details about your brand. And you must keep, I mean, whatever it is that has with your brand, whether it's your call to action, or it's your slogan, or it's your about section, or it's your headline, that's where you dump everything. That's where you dump everything. So that as you are getting better, getting more clarity, you go to that brand guide again, you edit it, you make it reflect your new light. All right. So if you are building a personal brand, one of the ways to be intentional about your brand is that you create a brand guide. All your designs and everything are supposed to be there. It's like your dump site, where you dump all the ideas and all the things you use for your brand. All right. So as we work together tonight, this is going to be practical. I'm going to be asking you questions at different junction of the training, and I expect you to answer in the comment section. But aside from the comment section, I expect you to, you should be taking notes tonight. I'm not using a slide, all right? You should have a book and a pen. And the questions that I'll be asking, you should note them down in your book so that after this training, you're going to reflect on them. And the answers you get from that personal reflection time, where is it going to again? It's going to your brand guide, all right? That's the essence. I don't want to make this just theoretical. And like I said, if you pay attention to what I want to share with you tonight and you do the practical exercises, and you dump all of them in your brand guide, you're now going to have more ammunition to create content on any platform. But now that we're focusing on LinkedIn, content that hits the heart of your target audience, content that is laser focused, all right, like that hits the bull's eye. It just goes and touches their heart, pierces their heart, and you can get the results that you desire. That said, let's start. All right. So tonight we're looking at the 7 elements of brand. Excuse me. The 7 elements of brand storytelling. And like I said, I'm not using slide. I will take this picture away now and show you my face, my very handsome face. All right. That's all you're going to be having to relate with tonight. All right. So, and I also have my notepad here. So I will be using my notes to tell you. I make sure that the key points I want to emphasize, I make sure everything is documented in my notes. So I will be using that to reel out the things I want to share with you and then the questions that I want to ask. Are we good to go? Let me know in the comment section if you're ready for tonight. Are you ready? Are you ready? I am pumped. And in the next 55 minutes, I want to make this a very, very insightful time for you. So let me know in the comment section. I am ready, but are you ready? Are you ready for what's coming tonight? All right. So let me start by saying building a great product and being able to market it require 2 different skills. All right. They are 2 different ball games. So I'm simply saying it is possible that service and you don't know how to market it. All right. Very important. It is possible that you what? That you have a great product, a service that will change the life of people, but you do not know how to market it. All right. So creating a great product or service and marketing it require 2 different skills, and both of them are skills that you can develop. For example, if you want to create a great product, you need to pay attention to research. You need to carry out your market research, ensure that you ask questions from the market, know what the pain or the challenges the market is facing, because most likely there are already products in the market. All right. Do your research. What challenges are the customers facing? What products are already in the market? Then try to find out what's the gap. All right. What gaps are still left to be filled? And that is where your own business can come in. And you're going to have a fantastic product or service. But now that you have a fantastic product or service, the next question is, how do you market what you have so that you can get people to listen to you, to understand you, and then to buy from you? All right. So, at the heart of effective marketing is your messaging. How do you talk about what you have created? So, you have created something, right? All right. And deep down your heart, you know that this will change lives. You know that your service will change lives. You know that it will help your customers to be better. Let's say you created the cure to HIV. You know that, oh, if somebody who is being tested positive just takes this vaccine, that virus will die. The next question is, how do you get more people to know about this and be convinced, all right, to buy? And one of the ways you can do that is to tell the story, tell stories, all right, is to tell stories. And when I oftentimes, I mean, what comes to people's mind is just tell any story. No, all right, is to tell your brand story. And what I want to do tonight is to give you a guide as to what are the elements of brand storytelling, all right, so that when you're telling stories, these are the things that you infuse in your storytelling that helps you to get results. I remember in core 3, I started on this, all right, but I didn't really break it extensively. Tonight, I'm going to be doing something that is further from where we stopped the last time, all right. So we're going to be looking at the brand storytelling framework. And can I start with this? Every story that you have ever read or that you have ever heard, every movie you have ever watched, always looks like this. All right. There's a character that wants something. All right. There's a character, the character wants something, and somewhere along the line, they encounter a problem or a challenge, which is often caused by another character that we call the villain. Every story you have ever read, every movie you have ever read, this is how they follow. There's a character that is trying to achieve something, trying to get something, to do something, and then they encounter a problem. And that problem oftentimes is caused by another character. So your character, then there comes another character who is the problem the hero is facing is often caused by the character you call the villain. And then in between, there often comes another character again that you can call the guide. Is you can call him the guide, you can call him the mentor. It is this person that now shows the hero how to overcome the problem that they are facing, the challenge, and then to get the result that they desire. I don't care what movie you have watched recently or what storybook you have read recently. This is the pattern it always follows. So when the guide surfaces, the guide tells the hero what they are supposed to do to be able to overcome the challenge. And usually, most movies follow that pattern. The hero, after a few times, of going back and forth, decides to take the advice of the guide or the mentor, and they succeed at the end. Voila, end of movie. Any movie you have ever watched that does not follow this pattern, you will find out that they will never be interesting. They will never catch attention. All right. So let's do something. Tell me a movie you have watched in recent time. Leave me a comment. I want to know which movie have you watched in recent time. Let me know in the comment section. Tell me a movie that you watched recently, whether on Netflix, whether I don't know any Netflix, Showmax, whether it's a movie or it's a series. All right, tell me in the comment section. I'll tell you mine. The recent series I watched, which should be some days ago, is The House of David. The House of David is like a screenplay of the story of David and Saul. All right, and it follows the same pattern. All right, so I mean, and the more you understand this, when you're watching movies or series now, you now begin to, oh, okay, so who is the hero in this movie? Who is the villain? What problem are they trying? Okay, so who is the guide in this movie? What is the guide telling the hero they need to do? And sometimes you can even predict the end of the movie, all right, because you actually have this omniscient perspective of storytelling, all right, and even some of you can now begin to write some amazing stories. So let me know which movie or which series did you watch recently. All right, let me know in the comment section. I recently watched The House of David. Beautiful movie. I love how they narrated the movie. Which movie or series did you watch recently? Let me know in the comment section. So what we're now going to do is we're going to pick the storytelling pattern of movies and series, and then break it down into 7 different parts. All right, and at the end of every of these elements of storytelling, I will ask you questions that you're supposed to reflect on. As you reflect on them, the answers you get, go and put it in your brand guide. These are the things that you must infuse. Of course, you can't infuse everything. It's not like, oh, tomorrow night you want to tell a story that will sell your brand. You now say, oh, you want to infuse elements 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It often does not work like that. But at least once you have all of these details written in your brand guide, when you are now creating posts that stories about your brand, you know what to say. All right, that will catch the fancy of your target audience. You know what to say that will touch their hearts, that will touch their emotions. You know what to say that will get them to click buy. All right, you know what to say that will get them to send you a DM. That is the essence of this conversation. All right, so again, what movie or series have you watched recently? Some of you don't watch movies. Yeah, I do. All right, as busy as I can be, I watch movies. All right, so let us begin the 7 elements of brand storytelling. What are the 7 elements of brand storytelling? I just did a summary for you when I told you every story you have ever heard or every movie you ever watched follows this storytelling pattern. There is a character, is the hero. He wants to achieve something, all right? And then there is a challenge that the character or the hero must overcome to be able to achieve what they want to achieve. And often this challenge is caused by a character you call the villain. All right. The villain can be a human being and it can just be a thing. It necessarily doesn't have to be a human being. And then there comes in another character who is the guide. The guide helps the hero to navigate the challenge and then come at the other side. And oftentimes the hero has to do something radical, something out of the world. Good. Mama Georgia, I recently watched Finding Me too. Beautiful, beautiful. All right, so I recently watched Finding Me too, and I know you can relate now. Character or the hero in that movie is Funke Akindele, and who was the villain? Okay, so the character is Funke Akindele, and one problem she needed to overcome was as identity, as self-image. She needed to become more self-aware and to have a better, better view of herself, to see herself in a better light. And the villain in that movie is her husband. Her husband was the villain that she needed to overcome in that movie. And guess who is the hero? The hero is that other guy that she finally meets, who is trying to infuse her with some new identity and new view of herself. And ultimately, she catches it. And then you see, there's a point where she ought to have left the husband and followed this guy, but she was dilly dallying. So at that point, there's suspense in your heart as you're watching the movie. Oh, will she not leave this husband and go and follow this guy and become the best that she can be? Or will she stay with this guy and this guy ends up beating her and then beating her to death? The man was eating her and she was bleeding and all that. So at that point, the person watching the movie is in suspense. Oh, will she die with this and that? And at the end of the movie, what happens? The husband is arrested. She ends up getting married to the guide, the person who helps her to find her true. And the movie had a view ending. So does this make sense? That is the format of every that you ever read or every movie you have ever watched. All right. I hope this makes sense. Now, I like the fact that you even used a movie that I have watched recently. So it should make sense to you now. So let us break that story that we have just quickly looked at. Let us break it into 7 different elements as far as brand storytelling is concerned. Because see, one of the skills you must master when it comes to content creation is storytelling. I showed you in the third cohort how that my best and the most performing post, for example, my first viral post on Medium was a storytelling post, and it follows exactly the same format. All right, a character and a hero that's trying to achieve something. It was a storytelling. It was a story about how I transitioned from my 9 to 5 to being a remote worker. All right, so who is the character? Me. What was I trying to achieve? Freedom. All right, a life of freedom where I am in control of my time and I make so much money. What is the challenge I needed to face? The challenge I needed to face was that I was doing a 9 to 5 that was tying me, choking me. So I needed to overcome that phase. I needed to find something, and at the point, I resigned my job. I took radical steps, and finally, I overcame the villain. And this is where we are. You get, that's like the pattern every story follows. So the better you get at storytelling, at telling the story of your brand, the more impact you can have on the target audience, the more visibility, the more bond you create with your target audience, and then you take them on the journey, and finally they end up buying what you sell. This is the whole idea of content marketing: to create content that people find interesting, find enjoyable, educative, and as you're doing that, you're building a relationship with them, and they are liking you. They know you already now. Now they are liking you, and gradually they are trusting you, and they get to a point in that journey, and you call them to action, to pay, to get a better result, and they say, give me what you're selling. You get the point. That's the whole idea of content marketing, and how smooth and sweet it is. It is not, there's no pressure on you, there's no pressure on the buyer. You're just having a good time, having a very fun relationship, and at the end, when they are paying you with joy. All right, they're paying you with gladness and happiness. So guys, let's break it down. 7 elements of brand storytelling. All right. Number 1, the first element is the character. All right, the character, or somebody you can call the hero. All right. So, like I said, I'll be speaking to my notes. I want to say a few things that I don't want to forget. So, Mama Ijele, why are you washing your hand? So the first character in brand storytelling is the first element is the character, the main character, the hero. All right. Whenever you introduce the hero, you must also define what the hero wants. All right. What does the hero want? What does your customer want is the first and the most important question that you must answer. I mean, if you have followed me also from quote 1, quote 2, there was a time we went on ChatGPT and then we did research about what are your customers' aspiration, pain points, and challenges. All right. The first thing you want to gain clarity on is what is your customer trying to achieve. All right. What is your customer trying to achieve? That is the first and the most important question that you must answer. All right. So the first element of your brand storytelling is the character, and you are not the character. All right. So let's also get that clear. Your customer is the hero in the story. So one mistake most personal brand and businesses make is that you now create content that makes you look like the hero. All right. No, your customer is the hero in the story. They are the character. And so you must ask yourself, customer wants? What are they trying to achieve? What is their aspiration? That is the first and the most important element of the brand storytelling. All right. And I can ask you that question now. Do you know what your customer wants? Put it in the comment section. What does your customer want? What are they trying to achieve? If you don't have that answer, there's no way you can create content that speaks to them. All right. You are probably going to be saying something else and it's just bouncing back to you. It's bouncing back to you because you're not saying something they are, that's making sense to them, that they are finding sensible. All right. So the first question is to ask yourself, what does your customer want? What are they trying to achieve? And I can summarize it. Of course, this is just like a course review. Your customer wants to thrive, all right? They want to thrive, they want to survive. And that can now mean different things to different customers, all right? If you are a marketer, for example, your customer wants an influx of clients. I mean, I am a content marketer. That's what my clients, want. They want an influx of customers and they want to make money, all right? So that's you need to narrow down what exactly does your customer want. But like I said, cursory overview, your customer wants to thrive, they want to survive. All right, that can now mean different things. So what you want to do is to open a story gap. When you're telling a story, you want to open a story gap. What's the story gap? The story gap is the gap between where your customer is currently, all right, where your customer is currently and where they want to be. All right. The story gap is where your customer is and where they want to be. All right. What they want to achieve, what they are aspiring to achieve. So your customer is at point A and what they want to achieve is at point Z. Between A and Z, you have B and Y. That is what we call the story gap. So in every movie, for example, in Finding Me, Funke Akindele wants to be the best of herself, discover herself, be proud of herself, have self-confidence. All right. But that will happen at the end of the movie. So what happens between that first scene and that last scene is the story gap. And then you're going to see different scenes, all right? And then you're going to watch and watch and watch and suspense, and then you end at the final scene. So where your customer is now and where they are aiming to go in between is what we call the story gap. And it is your responsibility as you are writing to open that gap. All right, open that gap in their mind. Show them where they are, show them where they want to be. And that's why your research is good, it is important. You must know where they want to be so that when they are reading your content, they feel like, oh, this person really knows me. How come this person knows me like this? All right. And they can begin to defer to you. All right. So people will pay attention to you, when you open the story gap, when you reflect in your story where your customers are and where they want to be. All right. So they pay attention to you. And attention either rises or lowers depending on how you are able to paint that picture, to paint that story gap in their minds. All right. So, and what does survival mean? I said your customer wants to thrive or survive. Surviving or thriving can mean different things to different people. Example, it can be conserving financial resources, maybe saving money. All right. It can be conserving time. And that's why virtual assistants often say, oh, I can help you save time. We're still going to talk about some of those stuff. So your customers thriving or surviving to your customer be that they are overwhelmed. They want to save time. They want to reduce their burden and their workload. It can be building social network, all right? It can be gaining status. It can be accumulating resources, accumulating wealth. If they're an NGO, for example, it can be getting sponsors, getting people to support their projects. It can also be finding meaning. It can be finding meaning, all right? So that is the aspiration. That can be the aspiration of your target audience. So again, the first element of your brand storytelling is the character, the hero, and that is your customer. That is not you. Very important. So the two questions you're going to ask under this first element is number one, who is the hero of your story and what are they trying to achieve? What is your ideal target audience trying to achieve? What is their aspiration? All right. What is their aspiration, what achieve? That's the question you want to answer under of the brand storytelling. And let's go to element two, storytelling, brand storytelling element number problem. All right, a problem. You must also identify what is the problem that your ideal target customer is grappling with. We know what they want to achieve, what is standing in between them and what they want to achieve. All right, so that is the problem. That is the second what element of brand storytelling. As a business owner or a personal brand owner, you must know all of these things so that when you're creating content, you are eating the nail. All right, so and oftentimes people sell solutions to external problems, but customers buy solutions to internal problems. All right, people sell solution to external problems, but customer buys what solution to internal problems. So the more you're able to narrow in into the external and the internal problem that your character is facing, the more you're able to communicate in a way that is emotionally resonating with your target audience. All right, are you following? The more you're able to identify the external and the internal problem that your audience are facing and then speak to it in your content, the more you're able to what? To bond with your target audience, in a deeper way. All right. So in a story, the problem is the what? Is the hook. The problem is the hook. The problem your target audience is going through is how you call them in, how you get their attention. All right. How you get their attention. And you can either actually what? Make your hook around the problem or make it around their aspiration. Any of those two that you do will get their attention. All right. So in a story, the problem is the hook. And usually every story is about what? Problem or conflict being solved. Finding Me is about what? It's about a problem or a conflict being resolved. Any movie you have watched in recent time, at the end, there's somebody in the middle of it trying to solve a problem, and then the problem was solved. That's how all stories, that's the format of every story. So, and why does the character have a problem? Like I said, there is always another character in the picture called the villain. So the villain is often what? The reason why the hero has a challenge. And like we said, in Finding Me, I don't know, since you have just mentioned Finding Me, I've just been using Finding Me. If you have not watched Finding Me by Foke Akinde, you may want to watch it. So in Finding Me, the villain in the story was Funke Akindele's husband. All right? The villain is like the devil, the bad character in every movie you watch, the wicked one. All right? The one that is vindictive, that is evil, that is trying to kill the hero, that is trying to, stop the hero. That's the villain. All right? So the character is facing problems on their way to their aspiration because there's another character in the picture known as the villain. All right, known as the villain. So the chief source of conflict for the hero or for the character is the villain. And what you want to do as a personal brand is to identify the main villain of your target audience. The main, because usually there's some of your target audience have like 4 or 5 villains. All right. So, but what you want to identify is the main villain itself. The main villain. So I said I recently watched House of David, and I know all the people in this cohort are Christians, so you're familiar with Bible story. David, in the story of David, for example, David is the character, is the hero, and at different phase of David's journey, David had different villains. All right. When he was growing up, his first villain was his identity. He was a bastard and was, forsaken and forgotten in the bush. When he was rearing his father's sheep, one of the villains he faced was a bear, then a lion. He moved to the next phase of his life. The next villain he faced was Goliath. He moved to the next phase. The next villain is who? Is Saul. And that was the main villain. Saul was the main villain in David's story. Saul was the main villain. And I'll get to the external and internal. Don't worry, I'll get there when we get to that element of the brand storytelling. So the main villain in David's story now becomes Saul. All right, Saul, because David is now trying to sit on the throne that he has been anointed to sit on, but somebody is standing in the way. So David was anointed around, Bible scholar says around 16, 17, but he did not become a king until he was 30. And when he became a king 30, he was not even king over all Israel. He was king over just Judah. And he reigned over Judah for like 7 years and 4 months before he now finally became king over the entire Israel. All right. So it was like 22 years. It took him 22 years to achieve the desired results. All right. So again, if you read that David story, all of these elements, I'm telling you, you will find it there. Who is the character? David. Who is the villain? Saul. Who is the guide? Samuel. All right. Can you see? Almost all stories follow this exact format. All right. So what you want to identify is the main villain, which is like the main problem. All right. So your customer may be facing 3 or 4 villains, 3 or 4 problems, 3 or 4 things standing in their way from getting results. But which one you want? The one you want to really speak to is the main one, the one that is like the chief of all the villains, that gives them the most headache. All right. If you're speaking to all of the petty ones, you know, oftentimes we are faced with different challenges. Sometimes 3 things or 4 things you're trying to overcome at the same time. But the ones that are like the petty ones, most times we just put them aside and be like, see, I'm coming. When I face this one and I deal with it, I will attend to all of you these petty things. Maybe somebody, you're looking for 1 million to travel out, for example, and somebody is now, bringing a problem that is like 10,000. You say, see, what is wrong with me now? Wait, this one's you wait. So as soon as you want to deal with this main villain, when you're now doing, I say, oh, okay, now come. I can now listen to you. My eyes is clear now. So you want to know what exactly is the main villain that your target audience are facing. So let me explain the external and the internal. If I ask you, for example, what is the problem your target audience is facing? Usually, most people just mention the external part. Okay, I think I created a post around this maybe last week or this week, sir. Say, for example, you're a virtual assistant, all right? When they say, what problem do you solve for your target audience? You say something like, I help them to save time, all right? Saving time is no doubt the problem of your target audience, but it's an external problem. What will resonate deeply with that person is the internal problem. So, because they cannot save time, how is that affecting them? What is that doing to them on the inside? You can now talk about overwhelm. They feel overwhelmed. I mean, in recent weeks, I practically understood what it means to be overwhelmed. All right. So if I could see somebody that will lift all of the stress I was going through, and hey, that is the person that I want to, do business with. So, in the last couple of weeks, I've been engaged in a lot of things. There's the NGO, there is church, there is business, there is client work and all that. So if a VA is speaking to me and say, I will help you save time, that's my problem really. I have a lot to do, in short time. But that's not really what to eat on that will touch me. It is what I was feeling. So the internal problem is to describe what the external problem is doing to your target audience. What is it doing to their mind? Somebody who does not have time, for example, is likely, a C-suite executive, for example, does not have time because he's doing a lot, will likely miss their children's program, maybe the open day, the visitation or something. They will likely not even get home until their child has slept. They will not be able to go for dates with their husband, with their spouse, and all of those, all of those emotional overwhelm they feel. That is the internal problem. So as you are creating your content, ensure that you are speaking not only to the external problem your target audience are facing, ensure that you're also speaking to the internal. And usually it is the internal that resonates deeply. That's the one that hits the chord in your target audience's mind. All right. So what are the questions to ask yourself to nail this second element? I'm going to give you 3 questions. Question number 1, what is the single villain your client is facing? Like I said, they may have several villains, several challenges they are facing, but you want to narrow in on the most or the biggest of the villains, because that's really most likely the one that gives them headache a lot. So you want to ask yourself, what is the single villain my clients are facing? What is the biggest problem, the biggest challenge that my clients are facing? Number two, what external problem um, what external problem is that villain causing them? All right. What external problem is that villain causing them? All right. What external problem? Let's use the VA example again. If we say, oh, what's the single villain your clients are facing? It could actually be that they are very busy. All right. So that's the villain. So much work, so much to do. All right. So what's the external problem that is causing them? The lack of time. All right. So how is that external problem, which is the lack of time, how is it making them to feel in their minds? All right. That's the internal problem. So three questions to ask yourself. Number one, what is the main villain that my target audience is facing? The main problem, the main challenge. Number two, what is the external problem that that villain is causing them? What's the external problem the villain is causing them? Then the next question is, how is that external problem affecting them internally? All right. How is it affecting them internally? How is it affecting their feelings, their emotions? You want to be clear on this thing. Put it again. Where does the answer to all of these questions go to? In your brand guide. All right. Just be dumping it there. So that every time you want to create content, you are picking from those things and infusing it in your messaging. That is how your content is going to be resonating with the emotions of your target audience. So let's go to element three. All right, the guide. So now it's time to introduce another character in the story. And again, every story follows this format. In the story of David, David is the character, Saul is the villain. All right, then what's the problem Saul is causing? If Saul is still alive, David cannot become king. All right, except if Saul steps down from the throne. But in the story, Saul was never going to step down. Saul wanted that if he was going to die, Jonathan would become the king. So the problem David is facing is that he has to sit on the throne. But there is somebody who is on the throne. And if the person does not leave the throne, and that can mean either the person steps down or die, David cannot become king. And it took David to wait 13 to 14 years before that finally happens. But in between that place, there is one person in the life of David instrumental in that journey, Samuel. That is the guide. All right. So, like I was saying, the third element of your brand storytelling is the guide. So, at some point in every movie, every story, the hero meets somebody or comes in contact with something that redefines their experience. So in your brand storytelling, who is the guide? You are the guide. And that's why I said your character or the hero is not you. Your customer is the character, they are the hero. All right. You are the guide. You are the one that has the skill, that has the service, that has the product that the customer needs to go from where they are to where they are going. So you are the one that has the experience, you are the one that has the knowledge, and you are the one that has to position yourself as the guide, as the helper that your customer needs to be able to get the result that they want to get. Are you following? So that's the third element of the brand story guide. Finding Me, for example, what's this guy's name? I've forgotten his name now. But the guy that Funke Akindele finally meets, that's like the guide in that movie. All right? That's like the guide in that movie. Ifewari. Is it Ifewari? I think it's Ifewari. Something. I don't know. Yes, Ife. All right. So that's the guide in that movie. In the story of David, Samuel is the guide. All right. So, and let me say this: customers are not looking for another hero. All right. So, and that's what you don't want to do. Customers are not looking for another hero. So when you are creating your brand storytelling, you don't want to position yourself as a hero. The story still has to be focused on them. It has to be focused on their aspiration, their problems. All right. Then you subtly introduce yourself as the guide that can help them to overcome the problem. Do not position yourself as another hero in the story. So it should not be like, oh, hero versus hero. And customers want to feel important. All right. They don't want to feel like they are competing with you. They want to see you as the helper and the guide. They want to see themselves as the star of the movie, because in every movie, the hero is the main character. All right, the hero is the main. In Finding Me, Funke Akindele is the main character. All right. So the middle says the third question. The first question: What is the single villain or the single challenge your client is facing? That's the biggest of the challenges. Number two, what external problem is that challenge causing them? Then number three, how is that external problem making your customers to feel? That's the internal problem, all right? How is that external problem making them to feel in their minds? That's the internal problem, all right? So back to element three. So customers are not looking for another hero, they are looking for a guide. They are looking for someone who can help them overcome the challenge in their lives. All right. So don't write your story in such a way that you are now competing with them. All right. Position yourself very well. So who is the guide? The guide is someone who has experience, who has expertise, and who has the strength to help the hero. But again, the story is not about the guide. The story is about the hero. All right. So when people meet your brand, and when people meet your brand, they're asking themselves two questions. One, can I trust this person? All right. Can I trust this person? And can I respect them? Can I respect them enough to submit to them to help me through this challenge? And how do you position yourself to make a first impression that shows that, oh, you can be trusted? Again, your content is how you do that. All right. So your content is how you do that. Your content, your content must show two things. One, empathy. Your content must show that you understand what the character is going through. You must sound like you get it, all right? You must not sound like, very bossy, very careless and carefree. You must sound empathetic. You must show some emotions. You must show some feelings. Show them that you understand. And there are words that you can say in your content that shows them. Oh, tell them something like, oh, you're probably struggling with this, and I get you. I've been there before, or things and things like that, just to ensure that the character feels seen and heard. All right. Everybody loves when they feel seen or heard. So there are things that you say, oh, I hear you, I get you, I've been there before. Those are like some things you say in your content that the character feels like, oh. So for example, in quad 3, I showed you one of the posts that I made that's helped me to sell over 200K. And I was telling the story of my journey on Medium, how I went from 26 followers to now having over 5,000 followers. And then I landed the deal with the American University. And somewhere in the story, I told them, oh, I was once where you are now. And I told them, oh, in 2023, January, I had 26 followers. When your character is reading, your customer is reading that, they are feeling like, oh, well, this person has passed through what I'm going through now. And now they are on the other side. So definitely this person knows how to go from where I am to where they are, which is where I am trying to get to. Does it make sense? All right. So you want to show empathy, make them feel like you get them. All right. They want to feel seen, feel heard, and that's how you build trust. All right. That's how you build trust. That's how you're like showing them that they can cry on your shoulders, that they can rest their head on your shoulders. All right. Just say something like, oh, nobody should have to experience that. Or say something like, oh, like you, I've also been, frustrated by the same thing. Make them see that you understand their problem. So the next thing you want to do that makes them see you as a guide, or that makes them feel like, oh, I can respect this person, is show competence. You want to show that you are competent. If you are saying stuff like, oh, I know you're going through the problem, but me too, I'm going through the problem. So how does your target audience want to trust you? All right, you guys are like colleagues in problem. So you want to show that you are competent enough to handle or to help them to go from where they are to where they want to go to. And there are 5 things you can do in your content to show that you're competent. Number 1, share testimonials. Testimonials are what other people say about you. All right. So as your target audience is seeing what other people are saying about you, they'll be like, oh wow, it looks like this person is the real deal. Do you understand? Also, share statistics. How many people have you helped? How much have you helped them save? Let's say, for example, you are somebody who helps people save money. All right. You can say, oh, I've helped XYZ brand save $30 million. I'm just hypothesizing. All right. But you can also give statistics of how many people have helped. If you go to my profile now, I told you I did a mini rebrand on my profile. So if you go to my profile now, you see that, oh, I've helped over 200 plus personal brands and businesses. That is statistics, all right? And that's making an impression in the mind of your target that, oh, this person has helped a lot of people. Most likely they can help me, all right? The third thing you can also share that helps people to begin to see you as the guide is if you have awards, you can share awards. All right. It's a proof that, oh, this person is recognized. Other people recognize this person's work in their industry. For example, when I went to receive the award last year, the top 10 people in public relations and media from TIBA, the next thing I did when I came is to share, is to create a post and to tell people that, see, I just received an award and they just recognized me as one of the top 10 voices, in my industry. What is that doing to your target audience? Is making them feel like, oh, this person is like the deal, all right? So you can share awards if you have them, all right? If you have these things, you can share them. If you don't have them, there are other ways you can also position yourself. Number 4, if you have press mentions, all right? Maybe you have been mentioned in press, share it. Or maybe celebrity endorsed you. For example, last year, one of the Facebook big shots in Nigeria, Emeka Nobis, I had the opportunity to go on a live session with him. And as soon as we sealed the deal to go on that live session, I made a post about it, began to post and talk about it. And you need to know how many followers I got within that space, and also got clients, because what? Now I am farming with the big boys. You understand? The big boys are, I'm chilling with the big boys. So if you have press mentions from celebrity or big shots, make sure you use it to press people's neck. What is doing in the mind of your target audience that is positioning you as like the real deal? Then the last one, if you have worked for popular brands, put their logos, put it in your profile. For example, if you go to my profile, my banner too, you will see Upwork there. You will see Bellevue University. Some of the top brands I've worked with, they are in my banner. What is this supposed to do? When people come to my profile and they see that, oh, you have worked with Upwork, makes sense. And I've written for Upwork before. It's not Fifi the imagination, all right? It's not Fifi the imagination. It is what? It is real. I've written for Upwork before. So that's how you position yourself as somebody that can be trusted. All right. So story brand elements 4. I see your question. Can you show how you can be trying to be second hero? If you're always making your content about you, that's how you are trying to be a second hero. Every of your content is about you, about you, about you, about this thing that you did, about that thing that you did. All right. Every of your content is just you and you and you and you and you. It's just like when a person walks into a room and everything they are talking about is themselves. Oh, I just did this. Oh, I just did this. Everybody becomes bored of the story, because why is it about you alone? Why are you trying to put the spotlight on you? So most of your content should focus on your target audience. Focus on your target audience, their problem, their aspirations. And then you now lead into you. So it starts with them, then it leads into you. And that's why if you have everybody that has been through this challenge, I often tell you, when you're creating your about section on LinkedIn, make sure it's also not entirely about you. Start by talking to your audience, talking to them about their aspirations, their problems, so that they will know that, oh, you know them, and then introduce how that you are the what? You are the solution, you are the bridge that helps them to go from where they are to where they want to go to. But don't just make your about section about you. Oh, I have 5 professional certifications. Oh, I've been to Harvard University. Oh, I have been in this industry for 10 years. All right. Like they always say, people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. All right. So make it more about your audience and less about you. The more if you make your content about you, about you, about you, then you are positioning yourself as the hero in the story. And then your audience comes to the background. Makes no sense. All right. Story brand elements 4, a plan. All right. So now that we have introduced the guide will now give the what? The character of the hero a plan. A plan for how they will go from where they are to what? To where they want to get to. So if you have positioned yourself as a guide, your target audience are now probably interested and they are looking for more. Or they are probably thinking about your offer. So the next thing is you want to ensure that you give them a simple plan of action. All right. Effective plans will do 2 things. One, it will clarify what doing business with you looks like. Let them know what doing business with you looks like, and also remove every sense of risk, all right, that they may be feeling as regards committing to you. All right. And if you also were in cohort 1 or cohort 2, if you were not in any of those cohorts, the training videos are available for you. I thought about how to create irresistible offers. And one of the elements of irresistible offer is to, what's it now? I can't remember the name that is called, but I mean, is to alleviate to reduce the fear in the heart of your ideal target audience. That's simply um I'm trying to say. So effective plans will do two things. It will clarify what doing business with you looks like, and it will remove the sense of risk a customer might be feeling. So let me tell you the questions you're supposed to ask yourself under this fourth part. I didn't give you any question under the third part because you are the guide. All right. I just told you a few things you can do that positions you as a guide in the mind of your target audience. Share testimonials, share proofs, and all of that. So, under number 4, what are the questions you want to ask yourself? What fear do customers have in relation to your industry? You want to do that research. What fear do customers have in relation to your industry? So, when you're creating a plan for how they should work with you, ensure that you address those fears. All right. For example, as a ghostwriter, one of the fears people have is their privacy. People that want to use ghostwriters care about their privacy. And for example, that's why as a ghostwriter, I've worked with top brands in US, and in every of the agreements you sign, there's always a non-disclosure policy there. All right. I am paying you as a ghostwriter to write for me as a ghost. You cannot use that content after you have delivered it. You cannot use it as your portfolio. You have sold your right to it. Also, you cannot go outside and begin to share some of the personal information your client shares with you. CC the executives are like people that want to be private. They don't want their certain things. So if they hire you as a ghostwriter, you cannot afford to go and be divulging the information you had access to because you are their ghostwriter. All right. So some of the fears that people will have working with a ghostwriter is, oh, will my private information still be private? What is too far? I hope you will not be sharing So those are like the fears you want to allay as you are giving them a plan. All right. You're trying to quench the fears. You must ensure that your content addresses those fears before it is even brought up at all. I often say what people call what is it? Why are these words, hiding from my brain right now? Objection. All right, what people call objections are questions that are in the mind of your target audience that you have not answered. And one of the things I often teach people is to anticipate the questions in the mind of your target audience and ensure you answer them before they ask. Because if you allow the questions to linger and they finally throw it up as an objection, it's going to be a hard climb. All right? Ensure you anticipate the questions and in your content, answer them. And that's why I often advise, for example, if you have a website, have frequently asked questions. All right, FAQs. And in the FAQs, anticipate all the questions that your target audience will have and provide the answers. So that as they are reading the FAQs, they're like, oh, okay, so this question has been answered, this question has been answered, and then they can proceed to buy from you. All right, so what fears do customers have in relation to your industry? What plan can you make to alleviate those fears? Those are like key things that you must answer in your content. All right. Story brand elements 5, your call to action. All right. So it's not enough to give them a plan. You must add a call to action. You must call them to action. So in every story, for example, in Finding Me, at some point, that new guy that was now dating Funke Akindele had to give her a call to action. Marry me, leave that your husband, and follow me. I will treat you well. I will take care of you. But assuming he was just hanging around and he's not really giving the call to action, he's probably not going to end up getting what he wants. All right. So at some point, you have to tell Funke Akindele what to do. And until Funke Akindele did it, she stayed in that terrible marriage. All right. So at some point in your content, in your storytelling, you must give a clear call to action. Customers don't take action unless you charge them to take action. And stop using soft CTAs. Some of us use soft CTAs that look like they are suggesting. And if you want to work with me, you can work with me. Your customers look at you and they feel like you are weak. All right? They feel like this person even competent. It looks like they don't even know what they are saying, they don't know what they are doing. All right. So let's say if you are interested, let me know. If you are interested, let me know. weak call to action. Okay, I'm not interested, and I will not let you know. All right. So you must ensure that your call to action is firm, is direct, yes or no. All right. Don't give them 3 or 4 options. It's either they are saying yes or they are saying no. And when we get to brand element 6, you will also let them know if you say no to this offer, this is how your life will look like. Paint the picture of what it will look like if they don't work with you. All right. I hope this is making sense. So customers don't take action unless they are charged to do so. So have call to actions. How many of you saw my recent call to action? I am the ghostwriter you should have hired before, and the only ghostwriter you will need to hire after now. If you are interested in working with me, send me a DM. That's some audacity. That's some audacity to tell a person, see, you know that ghostwriter you went to hire for all the ones I've been working with. It is me you should have worked this in the first place. But now that you want to come to me, trust me, you will not need to work with anybody again. Send me a DM now, all right, and I will show you. I will show you that what I'm saying is original. So that's some bold call to action. That's some confidence. That's some balls. I hope YouTube does not sanction me for that. So, for example, you can say something like, if you're struggling with XYZ problem, and which it looks like you are, I think buying Y, which is solution, is the right decision. I can take you to struggle with XYZ again. Would you like to place an order now? Now. It's not go and think about it. But we're going to think about it. Whatever you decide, come back to me. They will not come back. They have gone. All right? In Yoruba, Otilo. In English, if you're watching this and you're from America or UK, they have gone. All right? So ensure that your call to action is firm, is definite. It shows that you know what you're saying. It shows that you are confident in your solution. It shows that you really know what you're doing. All right? Our service will solve your problem. Buy now. All right? That's some audacity. So make your call to action a yes or no. When you don't ask for a sale, your customer think you are weak. All right? If you can help your customer, why should you not be bold? I mean, if you have a solution, if truly you are good at what you do and you are confident in your service or your product, why should you not be bold to ask them to pay you? And I think it was in first cohort or second cohort when we're looking at how to sell that I also tried to help you understand that, see, when you are selling, do not always feel like the bad person in the conversation because you're asking people for money. No, you are the helper here. You are the senior person in that relationship. You are the one that has a solution to their problem. So you're the bigger person in the conversation. So ask for money with your full chest, with confidence, because they need what you are presenting them. And so don't be asking for money like I'm feeling like you are begging, or or you're like you're trying to twist them. No, be confident in your solution as long as you know that your solution can work. All right. And let me mention that there are 2 kinds of call to action. All right. There's direct CTA and there's transitional CTA. So let me use what is relatable. For example, as a guy now, well, I'm not married. If I see a lady I like and I say, will you marry me? That's direct call to action. Say, can I take you out on a date? That's transitional. So I'll take them out on a date, first date, second date, third date. And when it gets to one judge, I say, okay, will you marry me? All right. So transitional is, oh, okay. So maybe because in your industry, trust can be difficult to attain. So you don't want to pop the big question like very fast. So you can just take them on a journey. For example, that's why lead magnet email marketing is a thing in some of our industries. All right. So when you give a customer a lead magnet, that's like you asking them on a date. So you're telling them, so take this free thing, just go and read it and go and learn and go from point A to point B. And then you send them emails, you're teaching them, you're educating them. So that's like transitional, you're just pushing them, taking them along the journey. Then at some point you ask them to pay you. All right. That's a direct call to action. Let's go to Storybrand element 6. So in element 6, this is where you paint a picture of the danger of not choosing you. All right. The danger of not choosing you. You paint the picture. So as you are telling the story and you have told them, oh, this is where you are, this is where I see you want to get to, I'm the guy that can help you, this is the plan of action. So my call to action is buy now. Then you also want to show them, oh, If you don't take this offer now, 4 months down the lane, you will still be stuck where you are. All right, clueless about what you should be doing next. You get what are you trying to do? You're trying to paint a picture in their mind that, see, this is what your life will look like if you don't buy this thing. All right, and you need it in your marketing. All right, see, I created a post, was it 2 or 3 weeks ago, where I said, why do people like bad things more than good? I can't remember the caption exactly, but it was because I wrote 2 articles on Medium, 5 traits bad writers, or 5 traits of bad writers, and then 5 traits of good writers. Guess which of the contents had more views and more readers? The bad one. And I'm wondering, why is that people like bad things? So I created a post on LinkedIn. Why do people like that? People came to the comment section to say, really, the human brain often wants to avoid pain, or often wants to avoid evil. All right, so when you paint the picture of what happened to them, they are quickly thinking of what to do to avert it. But when you paint just the picture of the good part, they may still feel like, oh, this can wait, this can wait. But when you paint the bad picture, they're like, oh, what can I do to stop this from happening? ASAP, ASAP. So the sixth thing you must do is to paint what? Paint a picture of the danger of not taking your offer. Story generates curiosity around the major question: will the hero achieve their objective? Will the hero achieve the objective? So in Finding Me, as that guy, if he was communicating with Funke Akindele, he would tell someone to continue like this. This guy does not like you. This guy is maltreating you. Look at your face. Look at this and that. That's and so what he's trying to do is to show her, if you don't leave that guy and come marry me, look at what this guy is doing to you. Is this how you want to continue your life? All right. So at some point, Funke Akindele comes to us and be like, oh, this is my husband. He is maltreating me. This is this guy. He looks like an angel. I'd rather go with this angel. Do you understand? So you want to also paint a picture. The more you speak about your hero's problem, the more likely they are going to buy from you. All right. So what you want to do further after speaking about their problem is to paint what is at stake. Because your customer is asking, you're trying to show them, see, so what? If you don't take this offer, this is what is going to happen to you. All right. And if you don't paint that picture, your customer will not know the seriousness of the solution you are offering them. All right. So let me give you a 4-step approach to use when you're trying to do this. Number one, make them know that they are vulnerable to a threat. All right. Make them know that they are vulnerable to a threat. Make them Okay, so I am back. We had a quick network issue. A very quick network issue. All right, so I was saying to help you paint the danger of not working with you. And I was saying, let's say I'm a copywriter trying to reach out to a business that challenged with selling their products. And I'm telling that I can help them write ways I can paint, that they're vulnerable to a threat is I can begin to talk about the fact that on their website or on their sales page, they will not make sales. All right. And if they're not making sales, businesses run on money, revenue. So if a business is not making money, they will likely soon be out of business. So paint a picture of the threat. One. Number two, vulnerable. Show them that they need to act that. Show them that they need to what? Act that threat. If they don't take action fast, the threat. Example, in the case of finding me, if Funke Akindele does not take action quickly and leave that her husband that was abusive, that was battering her, one day the guy will beat her and she will die. And towards the end, that almost happened. If I was marketing to myself, that picture in her mind, and the picture, the guy was painting the picture. All right. So ultimately, she saw it and she was able to leave. So show them that since they are vulnerable, they need to act fast to overcome the threat. Number three, let them know about a specific action that saves them from the challenge. Again, reinforce your call to action. Buy my solution, buy my solution, and challenge them to take the specific action. So, for example, in the next, which is the last one, okay, before I go to the last one, the question to answer under this sixth element is what is at stake if your customers don't buy from you? All right. Again, the answer to all of these questions should be in your brand guide so that every time you are creating content, you infuse them. So if you're creating a content to sell, for example, also infuse what is at stake if your customer don't buy from you. So you have talked about your solution, you have put call to action. Let them know what is at stake if they don't take that action. All right. So the question for number six, let me type it, is what is at stake if they don't buy from you? Does that make sense? What is at stake if they don't buy from you? So let's go to Storybrand element 7. So element 6 is to paint the danger action. Element 7 is to also transformation that awaits them if they take action. Picture of what the transformation that awaits them, show them how their story will end, show them how their life will end. So in that finding me too, if he was trying to show us, see, I will take care of you, does not value you. If you marry, respect you, I will take care of you. The child, because she was already pregnant at that point too. What he's trying to do to her is to show her a picture of what life looks like with him, compared to what with the villain. Do you understand? Of the battle, see, if you take action on this in the next 3 months, this is what your life looks like. You're going to have peace of mind because I'm going, as your virtual assistant, I'll be handling all of the things that overwhelm you. And now you can have more time for the things that you value. You can have more time to attend to your family. You can always see your child before she goes to bed. You can always do this. So you're painting a picture of the transformation that awaits them if they take you on the offer. So you're telling them what their life will look like if they take you on the offer. All right. So let me wrap up by saying this. The key to good stories is to open a problem loop at the beginning and then at the end of the story to close it. All right. Open a problem loop. At the beginning of Finding Me, the problem loop that was open is Funke Akindele is married to a man that does not respect her, that is cheating on her, that is beating her. That's the problem loop. But at the end, the gap was closed. Funke Akindele leaves the husband that did not respect her, that was battering her, and she finally marries a guy that respects her, that adores her, and that is helping her to see all that she is and all that she can become. End of story. Beautiful movie. I watched the movie, it was 2 hours, and I loved it. In the story of David, the story loop is David is the anointed king. Will David finally sit on the throne, knowing that Saul is a villain to David and Saul is alive sitting on that throne? But at the end of the story, what happens? Saul is dead. David finally becomes king over the entire Israel. So at the beginning of the story, you open the story with a problem loop. The problem the character is facing, them from what? But at the end of the story, paint a picture of what their end result will be if they take you up on the offer. All right? Depending on what the timeline, what is the timeline for which you can deliver results. Again, very important. It's more down the line. You will be doing this and this and this and this. Do you understand? 6 months down the line, you'll be, you would have, for example, enjoy anything. Maybe somebody speaking to a client who is obese, for example, or who is overweight, and you're painting a picture in their mind. If you take me up on this offer, 6 months down the line, you'll have shed all the excess weight, and you will have your bikini body or your summer body, and you will be this, you'll be happy, you will do this and this, and when you're painting, if you don't take this offer, 6 months down the line, you may have heart attack because the cholesterol in your body would have blocked your heart. And and see, and some people may feel like, is that not too gross? Yes, it is gross. If you don't paint it, they will not know what is at stake, why they should take you up on the offer. So show them what their life will look like if they don't take the offer. Then show them what their life will look like if they take the offer. Tell them, see, this excess weight, it can cause stroke. And I'm not lying. Excess weight is one of the causes of stroke, is one of the causes of hypertension, all right? Because excess cholesterol in your body blocks your heart. And if it blocks your heart stops functioning very well. And hypertension, stroke. So paint the picture to them, because they may be looking at their weight and still be like, after all, I'm still carrying myself. Absolutely, it. Let them know, manage. If they don't take you on your offer, this is how their life, so that they will know what is at stake. It will drive them to take action. All right. And then after you have done that, you cannot say, oh, but if you decide to take me up on this offer, 6 months down the line, you are about, if you have gone from 120 kg to 75 kg, and now you can, flaunt your glass figure shape. Now you can wear bikini and you can go to the beach proud of your body, confident in yourself, and all of that. Does that make sense? All right, so that's the 7 elements. Let me run through it again. There are 7 elements of brand storytelling. Number 1, the character. Who is the hero? Again, your client or your customer is the hero in the story. Element number 2, the problem. What's the problem they are facing on their road to getting their aspirations? And again, I said the problem is often caused by a villain. Then number 3, they now meet a guide. Who is the guide? You are the guide. So your responsibility is to position yourself as the guide. Then number 4, a plan. The guide gives them a plan that will help them to overcome the villain and the problem. Number 5, a call to action. If the call to action is to tell them to use the plan to get the result that they want to get. Element number 6 is to actually show them what their life will look like if they don't take you up on the offer. Element number 7 is to show them, what your life will look like if you take the offer, and they lived happily ever after. Or how do they say it? All right. So that is the 7 elements of your brand storytelling. And like I said, all the questions that I've given you at the end of each of these elements, take your time. If you need to research, do your research. Take your time, think about it, introspect about it, and whatever answers you get, put it. Creating content in the next 21 days and for the rest of your business lifespan. These are the things you'll be infusing in your messaging that will be speaking, that will make your message clear to your target audience. Do you understand? Under number one, for example, if you have defined the aspiration of your target audience, number two, you are clear about their problem. Anytime you're creating content, you want it to hit the nail in the minds of your target audience, ensure that you mention their problem, you mention their aspiration. All right, ensure that you infuse all of these details. And when we got to the guide, for example, I said two things. I spoke about empathy and competency. And I showed you there are words that you will say in your content that makes your audience feel like, oh, you you feel them, you have feelings for them, you know what they are going through. All right. And there are things that you also say or post that also shows that, oh, you are competent. You're like the right person they should defer to help them get the result that they want to get. I hope this has been very useful. If you have any question, leave it in the comment section. I will get them. All right. Some of you are going to watch this video later. Leave your questions in the comment section. I will get them and I will respond to them. All right. And if you want to ask the questions in the WhatsApp group, for those of you in the WhatsApp group, leave your questions in the WhatsApp group. I will attend to them. But please pay attention to this. Do this exercise. It will help your brand and your business long term. This thing is not even just for these 21 days. It's for your messaging going forward. So that even after this cohort, and you are not even in the next cohort, and we're not even together again, all the data you get from this exercise will help your messaging going forward. And it will help you to now be marketing and creating content that resonates with your target audience. This has been a wonderful and a very interesting 76 minutes with you. I'm rooting for you. Tomorrow we begin creating content. Check your welcome letter for the content guide. Like I always say, content guide is not like me trying to anchor you. Create content based on the fact that you are now good at this thing. Please feel free to freestyle. But if you're still struggling with content ideation and all of that, that content guide will help you to know what to post. All right. And because we're looking at storytelling, much of them also have been curated to help you tell stories that will resonate. And some of the things you get from the exercise you're doing tonight is what you'll be infusing in those stories you're going to be telling in the next 21 days so that your message can strike a chord. I say good night. Have a wonderful night rest. I wish you an amazing week, a productive week. I wish you the best in the next 21 days. I'll be in your comment section, engaging with your content. Some of you sharing your posts, when the occasion demands. Again, the group opens 7:30 a.m. in the morning, closes by 12 noon, then opens 7 p.m., closes by 10 p.m. Ensure that you have created your content within those windows and you post your link. And can I also encourage you, in most cases, ensure you create your content in the morning so that you can leverage on the activity that happens on LinkedIn in the morning. All right. Thank you. I love you. I'm rooting for you. I'll see you in the WhatsApp group. Have a beautiful night rest. You are welcome.